Hi folks, this is Peter from Nice Wheels, the electric bike experts, and we're out here on the first beautiful spring day in 2013 to show you the cutting edge CurryTech eFlow. Well, we made it out here to beautiful Randall's Island, and we've got the eFlow. Let's take a closer look at this electric bike. The eFlow is made by CurryTech, as I said, and they have really produced an excellent design here. This is a Swiss design that's won multiple awards for just like totally beautiful, unique shape, great curves and lines, and it's one of the most natural looking electric bicycles that you find here.
One of the first things I noticed when I took a look at the eFlow was the battery integrated into the seat post. And this is one of the major design elements that makes it so cool. The battery is here because it centers the weight in the front and the back of the bike, because it's all nice and balanced right there in the middle.
I was talking to Larry Peasy, head of CurryTech, about some of the great features of this bike. And, it's too sunny for this. Larry was telling me about the battery, which uses Samsung high-capacity lithium-ion cells, and that's what gets you such a quality, charge and such a great range in this battery. It also makes it really lightweight. Then if you come down, you'll see the custom-made motor for the eFlow. It's a 500-watt motor, and he was saying they tried all different kind of windings for the innards of that motor, for the copper wires that make it up. And what they landed on is something that gives you good acceleration, but also nice sustained power up to your top speed of 20 miles an hour. Now, the battery might look like it's hard to get in and out of the bike, but not really. To get the battery out, all you have to do is open the quick release and then slide it up, tap it forward, and there you go, you've released it from the bike. So it's a real simple system actually, and it works great. I'd really like to show you some of the nice details that take the eFlow from just a really nice electric bike to an awesome electric bike.
The eFlow uses powerful Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, and this big rotor can slow you down quick if you need to. Coming up to the fork, you see this is one of the coolest things. You can change the adjustment of the preload on the fork, which means you can set it a little bit firmer or a little bit softer depending on how much bounce you want to get out of it. This fork is really one of the things that makes the eFlow look more like a road bicycle, like really fast and light.
For ease of use is like, okay, your charge port, how long does it take? 4 to 6 hours. Nice and obvious, right? All your electronics are in one cable, so you only have to unplug one cable to change a flat. Talking of changing a flat, you've got what's called an axle release, and this is one thing that you find on electric bikes. So instead of using a wrench to open it, it's just like a quick release on a normal bicycle.
The eFlow has some of the best components you find on any electric bike. It has an all-SRAM drivetrain, all-SRAM Apex, and that's a 10-speed derailleur in the back with a cassette, and then you've got your 2-speed derailleur in the front. So you've got 20 gears, plenty for climbing hills. If you ever want to take this bike out to get some exercise rides too, you've got plenty of gears for hills, plenty for speed.
Thank you so much for watching our video on the Curry eFlow. We're going to head back to the shop now, but remember, you can always stop in for a test ride or give us a call or an email. We'd be happy to help you out with any questions. I'm going to head out and enjoy the rest of our day here. Thank you very much again for watching, and check us out more online. Take care now.
The future of fuel, it's air.
Think about a car that even runs on air. The air we breathe, the air that's for free.
Science fiction novelist Jules Verne predicted that cars would one day run on air. Ironically, France's Guy Negre just happens to share his birthday.
Yes, Jules Verne was born the same day of me.
And Monsieur Negre has created, yes, the air car. Fully functional prototypes of lightweight cars fueled completely by compressed air.
My name is Cyril Negre and I'm working with my father since 1993. And we arrived at the solution that we can use compressed air.
Imagine, it costs nothing to fill up your car with gas. That gas also happens to be the same gas that fills your lungs with every breath.
The principle is simple. En fait, tous les moteurs fonctionnent.
Actually, all engines work with compressed air. Most engines suck it in, heat it up, it pressurizes, and it pushes on a piston. In our engine, we pressurize the air first, so when we apply it to the piston is pushed.
But in this kind of engine, what we are doing, we are bringing the air with high pressure. And if you take into account the fact that you need to compress the air and to expand it into the engine, this is a whole system totally free of emission.
Actually, the air car does have emissions. It's ice cold, completely clean, highly breathable air.
Obviously, compressed air isn't like carburation. It doesn't use combustion. Compressed air is an energy carrier. It has to be compressed and then it will restore and return what we gave it.
Movement, powered by air, 200 miles on one tank, with speeds up to 60 miles per hour.
You can fill it with an air station in 3 minutes, or you can plug it on a normal electric plug, and then using this alternator we have inside of the car, which is also an engine, you can drive the air engine as a compressor and fill the tank.
Strong, lightweight, practical. A solid cabin structure that carries compressed air tanks underneath to propel it. For some, it's hard to believe.
Of course, many skeptics is normal.
In fact, it's always easier to be skeptical than to think in a positive way.
They can say whatever they want. I know my technology, I know what there is inside, and I know the potential there is inside of this technology.
More than potential, the air car is the real deal. The air car isn't cost-free to operate because it does take some energy to compress air. But interestingly, MDI has created a generator powered by compressed air, which presents a tantalizing possibility. What if that generator was on board the car? Then one day, perhaps the compressed air that runs the cars will also run a generator to compress its own air. A car that runs on air and constantly refuels itself, round and round, a perfect circle, perpetual motion. A no-cost fill-up ever. Not one iota of pollutants ever. And a cute car. All for about $15,000. That's a future car.
Renault will inject some much needed affordable fun into the developing market for electric vehicles in March 2012 with this. It's a two-seater city car and it's called the Twizy. Now this one is a prototype, so it's not finished, but it's close enough to the production car to give us an idea of what to expect. A top speed of 47 miles an hour doesn't promise very much, but it's amazing how much fun this Twizy is. It's kind of like an anti-scooter. So in a scooter, you twist the throttle, you get lots of noise, lots of transmission slip, you don't really go anywhere. Whereas in the Twizy, you get 42 pounds-foot of torque straight away. And that makes this car actually quite fast away from a standstill and a real fun car to drive. It weighs 450 kilograms, but it's a bit like a miniature double-decker bus. It looks tall, but all the mass is concentrated low down, so the car actually corners much better than it looks like it should. So Renault's laid out a little obstacle course for the Twizy here, and to be fair, the car handles it very well. If I look a little bit busy at the wheel, it's because the Twizy's steering is perhaps a little bit slower than you expect it to be. And that's because it's unassisted. So they have to make it slow to take the weight out of the wheel. But the car picks up really quickly, as you can see. Stops really well. And here you can see the advantage of a 7-metre turning circle. That's a full metre smaller than a Toyota IQ. And that just makes it a little bit easier to negotiate junctions and corners in town, and just makes it a bit more fun to drive, really. Lithium-ion batteries give the Twizy a range of about 60 miles. Unlike an electric scooter, however, it does have regenerative braking, which means it can do up to 70 miles in exclusively urban use. Better still, an 80% charge takes just 3 hours from a regular mains plug, which makes on-street charging a more viable option with the Twizy than it is with many other EVs. So this is the production version of the Twizy. It's certainly small, as you can see, just 2.3 metres long, which makes it 40 centimetres shorter than a Smart 4.2. It's also just a metre wide, so you can thread it through gaps in city traffic. Even though it's small, it's quite practical. There are 2 decent-sized glove boxes at the front for your odds and ends, and at the back there's 2 large storage cubbies, so there's enough room for a laptop case or some shopping just under that rear seat. And talking of rear seats, it's big enough for an adult. I was sitting back there earlier on, and I'm 6'3", so this is a proper 2-seater, not just a 1+1. Renault UK has yet to confirm a final price for the Twizy, but expect it to cost around about £7,000. There'll also be a monthly lease cost for the Twizy's battery, and that should set you back around about £50 a month. Unfortunately, you won't get a government discount for the Twizy because it's classed as a heavy quadricycle and not a proper car. But even without a government discount, this is still a well-priced city car. City cars often just feel like low-rent super minis, but the Twizy's a real breath of fresh air. It's not just a quirky little EV, it's a car with real enthusiast appeal too. And it's all the more appealing and desirable and fit for purpose in the city for being electric.